It is not the GDP scale on the screen. It's your pocket. And when your family calls, say, George, and then your BP goes up.
But for Japan, that high suicide rate has less or nothing to do with their pockets, because
that's what I said. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it is they forgot the human center. So I said, when you follow the people-oriented development, you are ensuring that the person is not only developing economically, financially, but his welfare, his well-being,
so you're talking about holistic growth.
Thank you. His happiness, his joy, is all taken into consideration. That's why I say that NPP and DC, they don't care about us. If you care about us, you will not do roads for me and punish me with dust for 2-3 years. And you think that I should clap for you because you are doing a road for me. No, you are killing me with dust. You are destroying. Whenever a road is coming, all the companies and industries along that road, they go out. It shouldn't be.
Okay, all right. I guess that's what has informed your 4-day work week policy too, where we're going to work from Monday to Thursday, and there's a break from Friday to Saturday.
And Sunday.
And Sunday. Economies are moving around the clock. We have some talking about 24-hour economy, some talking about how to increase productivity in various sectors. Now, reducing the working day to 4 days. The first question is how does that increase productivity? And how do you get the people to actually generate enough to get the country running?
The main word you mentioned there is productivity.
Yes.
In my office, Adu Gaming, he said it. They don't come to the office.
When?
They don't come to the office.
At all?
No.
They don't come to the office at all?
They have targets. They meet their targets. It's about productivity. You set the targets. Your target is ABCD. Why come from Kaswa all the way to Labone where my office is and spend 1 hour in traffic? You get there, you are sweating. And you have to cool down. And then you spend another 1 hour, you go back. Or come from Lashibi or Tema. It's about productivity. It's about targets. So that is where I say that we have to reimagine everything. You can do a 24-hour economy and you can still be bankrupt. In fact, I'm saying so because it's about targets. If you set targets for the people and they achieve the targets, it's not about the number of hours being worked. It's about the people. You know, I like my daughter's phrase a lot. It's where are we trying to get to? That's what it is. That's where are we getting to? So how do we get there legally and morally? That's what it is. So if you set the targets for your, as I said, the data is very clear. Currently in Ireland,
yes,
in UK, it is so clear. Productivity has gone way up. They've come down to 4 days because they set up the targets, and the targets we are working towards. It's not about the number of hours or days I spend in the office. I come in here to achieve a target. So when I meet a target, that's what matters. If I can do it from the car park, from every gardens, or from the restaurant, that's what matters. At the end of the day, when I call my team to a meeting and they come, they've all met their targets.
All right. Okay. And then into agriculture. One biggest challenge that farmers do have in this country, first of all, has got to do with inputs. Then their challenges also getting financing from the banks. It looks like they even have some challenges with ADB itself. Before even moving into your Agri for Wealth, how do we resolve those basic needs and challenges that the farmers go through? Inputs, loans, and even getting fertilizers for their farms.
So I'll tell you the issue of the farmers. And like I said, I have met with them countless times. And my advice will meet with them Thursday, God willing. The farmers' issue is government priority. They tell me, say, no government since Rollins has prioritized agri. They just give us lip service. It's the same when you hear on the radio, on the TV, we've given the farmers $1 million. Only 10% comes to us. They tell me, in fact, 2, that is Party for Food and has completely failed. There is nobody.
The phase 2 or the phase 1?
The phase 2.
The phase 2.
I mean,
the phase 1, did you say it has been successful? Nothing. That's
only the phase 2. Because we didn't work. So the issue about yes, those points you made are very real. But if a government prioritizes something, doesn't government prioritize the cathedral, right? They fund money, right?
Well, system.
No, but they fund the money to do something. And to the glory of God, Nana prioritized SHS. They found the money, and they are still doing it. So first and foremost, what a government needs to solve any problem is prioritizing it. I see agric as important to my policy. So I will give it the utmost priority. So what does it mean? It means that the farmers, right now, I can't put the farmers under any commercial bank because their rates are too high. They can't afford to take a loan for 34% to go and plant something that they are not too sure. So first and foremost, I'm going to do the cooperative bank.
Okay.
And as part of my common prosperity for all is a cooperative scheme. It is so key to the whole thing. So the cooperative bank will ensure that farmers are put in cooperatives. When you are put in cooperatives and you go to a cooperative bank and you are in cooperative, that bank will ensure, one, you have your loan not in single digits. In single digits, which means that the highest it will go is what? 9.
9.
Not more than that. 2, every cooperative will have their own mechanization. Unlike what the others are saying that they'll have it in a district. Running to the district, it didn't work. If you have the combine harvester in a district and you, George, you're a farmer, you want to use it, so the other George has come for it. You have to wait. Every cooperative will have their own mechanization. Every cooperative attached to it their own extension officer. Every cooperative have attached to it inputs. And then I said it comes with a climate control warehousing. And it comes with irrigation. So when you prioritize something, you go the whole length to ensure that everything works. So all those issues you mentioned, I've taken them one because, and they've all been laid out clearly. And I've also added the agropolitan to have agriculture enclaves that are purely, and then you have your agri business as well. And this also goes for the poultry farmer. It goes for the fish farmer and the one involved in animal husbandry. So it goes for the whole scope. It's about a government for the prioritizing agri and making sure. And I said, like I said, I intend to make farmers in Ghana as rich as my grandfather.
Okay, all right. 2 questions, and Doreen will come in with questions from the audience too. So the first one, if Ghanaians vote for you, you're going to have to deal with a debt to GDP that is over 70%. I mean, it's really that high. What's your plan to bring in that debt down?
It is what I just said earlier on, the corruption and the wastage. Over 500 billion still have been borrowed. And you ask yourself, where is the money? How was it spent? A lot of it has been wasted. Because less than 10%, in fact, only about 7 billion went to 3 SHS. So the first and foremost stuff is you cut down on expenditure. You can't keep on overspending. You cut down on government ministers and all the largesse they have. You cut down on, like every government, like I said, every government SOE that's not making money, you sell. Those who are making money, I am the shareholder. You make sure that you bring your money to the shareholder. So all these measures will be put in place so that government is able to secure money from every other source. And you cut down on travel. One time ago, I was looking at the budget. One government, I don't want to mention the name, one government spent $502 million a year on travel. That's $500 million a year. I don't want to mention the name, but it's the budget. So all the things you can cut down on to save. But that's why I said, Ghana, we are rich. Issue of money, I don't worry there. It's the procurement issue we have to check. That expenditure that is over bloated and it's always getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So all the wastage, when you cut them down and you check the looting, you check the corruption, you check the overpricing of services, George.
To help you cut down the debts?
We have money to cut down the debts.
Yeah, money to cut down the debt. And the second one is good. Why do you want to sell SOEs that are not making profit or doing well?
In the first place, it's been proven everywhere in the world that government is bad at doing business.
Really?
We are not good at doing business.
China has a different story. Japan has a different story.
No, China is a different story. China
yes.
No, let me say something about China. Okay, so you see, China, the SOEs are used as investment tools outside.
Well, I get that, yes.
So you see state companies are outside. They are used as investment tools outside to project the Communist Party's agenda outside China. So the Communist Party ensures that they are working because there's an agenda to project the Communist Party's economic arm outside of China using their state-owned enterprises. That's why DS are working. We don't have that. You have SOEs that are not making money. They say it all the time, they're not making money. Why are we keeping them? Because somebody wants to appoint CEOs. Somebody wants to appoint a board. I don't need that. Government is not good at doing business. Government is good at one thing: policy and regulation.
Okay.
So one of the things we will do under the Ghana First policy when we reimagine is what I call the triple helix development model. The triple helix, which is 1, government as the policymaker and regulator; 2, the private sector as the engine of growth and the capital person. And for the first time, nobody has done this. Every government has done since the last 32 years. 2, they say PPP. Private sector hasn't worked because the traditional sector are the ones that own the land. They are the ones that can mobilize the people because they are the key. Those are his subjects. And they are the ones that we should use as vehicles for development. So what a Twum-Barima-Adu Azongo government is bringing is the triple helix development plan, where it is the government as the policy maker and the regulator, the private sector as the engine of growth and the provider of capital, and the traditional sector as the vehicle for development and the mobilization of the masses.
Why don't you find out why these SOEs are not doing well and see how best you can solve those problems in there? What's going to be different from a private man who will come in that you're going to sell those SOEs to, that the governments with whatever resources that they have, including the best human resource, cannot solve with the state-owned enterprises? Because
I have worked in an SOE before.
Yes.
And for some reason, the mentality is a bit different.
But it can be changed.
It can be changed. Okay. But the point is that that's not government. Government, we are not good at that. Ours is policy and regulation. I make the policy, I regulate. And when I sell all these SOEs, I don't need all this government, I'm not good at running. Government is not good at, in the first place, a government every 4 years goes for election. SOE stays forever. So therefore, it's not good. I might do well with my SOE because I've looked at them. Somebody might come doesn't care, and so that is not a good model because governments change. The Chinese government, they stay forever. Before then, they were changing every 10 years, but now she's like forever now till he goes till he dies. So that one you can have a policy. You can have a, and that's the way that works. But here, every 4 years, you are changing government. You want the SOE that is there. And so whenever you change government, the shareholder is now a new government. That new government will have a different agenda. So government shouldn't go into the business of SOEs. The ones that can be, I believe strongly, like I said, we need a media. Government of Ghana needs one to control the financial sector. So the banks, we need them.
Okay.
Definitely we need the banks. The banks, we will grow them more because we will use the banks as tools to finance our development. So we need the banks. That's one area. We need the media because we will not let a foreigner come and tell our story. We will tell our own story. We will not let a foreigner come and tell. We will tell our own story. So we need the media. So we will grow the media, whether it is print, electronic, or social. We'll grow the media. We need the energy sector because it is key to development. So that one also we have to fix it and put how we'll fix it. We have to fix it. That we need, and we need our what's it called, internet connectivity because it's key for the transmission of information. A foreigner cannot own it or a local cannot own it because then it becomes a problem for government.
Yeah, so these spaces are going to be controlled by government.
I know government, but the rest, like, why should I own Gihok? Why should government do origin beer? Tell me. I don't need to do origin beer. You do origin beer, let me drink it. Why should I do origin beer? I don't need to do origin beer. Mine is to make policy that your origin beer should contain Bailey or...
So you don't actually... Do you believe in government actually holding that majority shares in Goil?
Definitely.
Okay, because it's part of your energy
policy. It's energy policy, yes.
Okay. So if there's an SOE that's making profits, will you sell it?
Like in which area?
Making profit in terms of making a lot of returns.
It depends on the area. It depends on the sector.
Not necessarily in the sectors you've talked about. Not in communication, not in media, not in energy, and not in the financial sector.
I'll sell it.
You sell it, even though they're making profit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what comes in your people-centered then? Because if you want to run a people-centered administration, and the people is in the center of all of this, and then you want to privatize some state enterprise or state-owned enterprises, which comes in with an objective of making profit, that usually does not fix within the people-centered approach. How then do we believe that you're going to run a people-centered government?
People-centered government is different entirely from that. Let me tell you why I say I know of a bank that was doing very well. Very, very well, making super profits. The MD was changed. The bank is now on their knees.
It's a private bank?
Yes.
Okay.
It takes one person and everything goes 180. That's all it takes. And the bank was doing very well. The workers were very happy. It didn't face any of the pressures of those 5 banks that were. But now the workers have been laid off because the MD was changed. And the new MD just messed up. So that is why I said government, it's not government's business, because that person doing very well will retire. 60 years maximum, whatever the retirement age is.
Yes.
So this bank, the person retired. A new MD came and it's been a mess. And they are struggling to raise money. So that person is doing well for the SOE. He or she might retire. That new person will change the whole approach.
Okay.
It is not and if you want to protect the employees, that's how you do it. Let it be run by people who know how to do it, and they can secure. And what I do like I said, policy, I put in place the policy for the workers, so that private sector, what's it called, employers will not abuse the worker. That's what I do, so that every worker is secured in their job. That the government policy says that I must earn minimum this amount. I must get these benefits. I must get these healthcare benefits. That's for me to do for the worker.
Okay.
That's about common prosperity and the well-being and welfare of the worker.
Okay. Our guest is George Twum-Barima-Adu, who is an independent presidential candidate wanting to become the president of this beautiful country of ours. And we've had some interesting times with him here. I'm going to quickly hand over to Doreen, but we're also live on GBC News. We are live on Obonu TV. We are live on Unique FM. We are live across the 16 regions of this country, making it 18 radio stations across the country. On the internet is gbcghanaonline.com. On Facebook is Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and of course GTV Ghana. And that's how far we're connected and scattered across the country for this particular program, the GBC's Presidential Encounter. So we'll hand over to Doreen, who will pick questions from our audience here in the studio. Doreen,
well, George, thank you so much for this opportunity. And let's give it up for Mr. Twum-Barima-Adu. Well, he has given us some details about his policies. He's talked about the Ghana First Within Cost, Agric for Wealth, E-Levy, he says is going, and then you're going to have E-Sika, Domestic Direct Investment District Contracts for Youth, and then 4-day work week, he says, is coming. Now, I'm going to give the opportunity to our studio audience. Please, if you have a question, just let me know. I'll bring the microphones to you. You tell us your name, where you're coming from, and then you get the opportunity to ask your questions. So if you have any questions, just please raise your hand to let me know. Okay, so we have one question here. But Mr. Edu, I just want to ask you this question. Honestly, do you believe that Ghana is ready for an independent candidate, considering how they have performed over the years in the elections? Hold on to that. I'll take 2 more questions, then you can answer that.
Thank you very much. My name is Abdulrazak Yusuf from Disability Sector, Ghana Blind Union specifically. My question is, I want to know whether persons with disability have any role in your administration before. If we have, what specifically? because I've not heard you say anything about us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. We have one question from here.
Thank you very much. My name is Reverend Divine Aglago, GPCC. I have a few questions for you. You spoke about growth-oriented development model and district contract for the youth. That is to say, contracts will be given to the youth in their various districts or communities to retain them there. Mr. Aspiring President, the world is now a global village where technology and digitization are the orders of the day. Without the provision of the necessary technical know-how, I want to believe that your good self, in your profile that was read to us, we read that you even schooled outside. Without providing the necessary technical know-how to these youth, how would they cope with these contracts we are talking about? Then still on the youth, Galamsey is now a national problem facing us as a people. Day in, day out, we hear about some sites collapsing, taking away precious lives, particularly the youth. Mr. Aspiring President, what plans do you have to salvage the nation and then the growing youth at large? Finally,
I think you should hold on.
Okay.
Let him answer the 4 questions, and then when he's done, we'll come back to you to continue with
Thank
your
you very
question.
much.
Thank you
Right.
so much.
So start off with Doreen. Whether, in all honesty, you think Ghana is ready for an independent presidential candidate, for that matter, an independent presidential candidate winning a general election?
Thank you so much. I say to everybody that I am not an independent presidential candidate.
Okay.
I am a presidential candidate. There is nowhere in the Constitution of Ghana that states that there are independent presidential candidates. It is the press that has been coined that phrase. And I told EC that. It's been coined by the press. In the US, they are called third-party candidates. Because in the Constitution, right, it says that there shall be a president who shall be head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And it talks about political parties.
Yes.
So what we have are presidential candidates. Some are backed by political parties, and some are not backed. So when the press refers me as an independent president, I've said it many, many times, but I realize that that's why I said the press themselves needs to be, because the press is stubborn. It becomes an easier phrase for the press to use. But I am a presidential candidate like any other presidential candidate. I am not backed by a political party. But back to your question, yes, the answer is a resounding yes. Who votes for these parties? Who makes these presidents? You, Doreen, you, George, myself, and everybody here. All we need is courage and boldness. For 32 years, we have gone one way. It has never helped. And so far as that's why I said we have 2 options: use breath, recycle breath. What we need is fresh breath, because what we need now is a new perspective that will change this country and reorient this country into a model that the question asked by my friend here about the disabled. Because when it is people-oriented, that question will never come. Because they will automatically see themselves fitting into the whole fabric of the economy. I don't see when you have a government and policies that are for the people, everybody benefits. So when I come to a district and I'm saying I'm doing district contracts for the youth, the first and foremost thing I said is for those who qualify. That's what I said. But there are also youth in that district, including others like the disabled, who might not qualify because they didn't finish school. But it is linked, because it's a linkage. It is linked. My district contract for the youth policy is linked to a community skill scheme project. So first and foremost, there will be the community skills scheme for all districts and all youth in every district, because they'll have it in every district, including the disabled and everybody who wants to learn any skill. It is free. It's government. It's like a TVET. You go there, you learn. And when a contract comes and you've qualified, because we know you went there, it is part of you, because it's for those who have qualified in the district. And so it is linked to a community skill scheme for those who don't have the skill to go and learn there and what's it called? Have the skill. And those who have it already, like I went to school, have it already, they also have it. So it is a very simple process, like I said. Yes, I believe strongly that this year there will be a massive. I have seen, when I go run a district, right, and I talk to people, the question they ask me, are you NDC or MPP? I'm not. Okay, then sit down. We don't want to see them here at all. They come all the time, stories and lies. We don't want to see them here. And I see that for 32 years we have seen it. 16 years of MPP, NDC. What new do they have? 1, 2. I say this all the time. Political parties are not set up to govern. General Mosquito said it. He himself said, I didn't say it. That they are set up to win elections. And it's true. That's what they do.
The best way to govern, for you to govern, you have to win the election.
They win elections.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, they can't even govern well. You know why?
Why?
Because that is the way it is structured. They look only at their people. So like you George, a GBC, you've won election. You take it from GBC people. But outside of GBC are 1,000 of people who have knowledge than some people in GBC. That is why the party system would never be able to develop Ghana. Because the party system is parochial. But my system, I take from the whole country. My landscape, my talent is every Ghanaian qualified, prepared to serve in my government. I don't care. Like I said, again, I'll say this here for the people to know. In my cabinet, the minority leader, the majority leader shall be my cabinet. Because to me, it's about Ghana. It's about a party. So the majority leader and the minority leader shall be in my cabinet. Because I need to work for all Ghana. And they are a people and a party I need to work with. So I believe I've answered all the questions here. With the people around the government, that question won't come. Because whatever I'm doing for prosperity is to ensure that everybody, like I said, no matter who you are, how you look like, where you come from, you qualify.
Okay.
And with the contracts, 1 is for those who are qualified, and 2, the community skills scheme is to absorb those who are not qualified, to train them and make them qualified to be able to apply for it.
Okay, and the plans for the persons with disability, they also have very special needs.
Thank you.
So there needs to be a special approach to how they all cannot be put in the same pool.
Thank you.
So what's going to be special about your policies?
That is, and it is in the Constitution. That is why Chapter 6, I'm asked all the time, what is your manifesto? And I said, Chapter 6 of the Constitution is my manifesto. And I don't know why parties do manifestos. And I know why they actually I know why they do it. They do it because they will not enforce it. They don't go by it. That's what they do it. But if you take it from here, you are bound by it. Chapter 6 of the Constitution is my manifesto. And it covers everything that we need as a people. You can go back and you can read it. Thank you very much. Okay. And look at Article 36. It covers everything. Article 36 covers everything. And that is my Constitution. And so I intend to ensure that I follow this and I apply this and I go by this for the welfare, the well-being of all Ghanaians. So definitely this covers them. It says we can make room for them in anything we are doing. That's why I make sure that anything I'm doing, every person in Ghana, in every area, disability or not disability, you are covered. Nobody is left out because they are Ghanaians.
All right. Galamsey,
Before you, I'm not
Let's
sure you've
touch on
answered his
candidacy.
question, but before you move on. You made mention about the issue of manifestos and the fact that you don't believe in why parties should have manifestos. I beg to differ because if parties have manifestos, then the citizens can hold them accountable to the content of their manifestos.
I can list for you now. NDC MPP, they have about 400 promises in their manifesto. The last one. Let's use NDC MP because they are in power. I can list for you how it is covered. Let's do the third. NDC had over 700 in the manifesto the last time. Over 700 promises. So the question is, Joe had a whole program on it and asked them, why do you guys have manifesto if you can go about it? Because it is not a binding document.
But people can hold you accountable. That is why when parties do not fulfill their promises in their manifestos, citizens vote them out.
Yes, and for 32 years, they've not been fulfilling it. Read chapter 6. That is more binding because this is the Constitution. And if it says that you are supposed to ensure even and balanced development across the whole country and for every town and people, it says, and so if I don't do it, you can say you violated the law. So I believe the power is here more than the party manifesto. So I say to everybody, chapter 6 of the Constitution is my manifesto.
It's your manifesto.
And I strongly believe, I live by it.
Okay. Galamsey, let's touch on it.
Thank you very much, Galamsey. Yes, Galamsey is right now a problem. It is a product of a failed development model.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. And I've met with them across the country, and I speak to them, and they said, boss, if we are guaranteed 2,000 cedis a month, we won't do this because it's killing us.
If they are guaranteed 2,000 cedis a month?
Yes, because it's killing us. They don't guarantee that one. Like I said, it's a failure of the economic model that is always growth-oriented and not people. So they'll put their life in danger, go in a pit, and have an issue. Meanwhile, we are all suffering. It is affecting everyone. So what would a Twum-Barima-Adu policy, what would a Twum-Barima-Adu Azongo presidency do? What I would do is to move them. Now if you go to Southern Africa, they've been moved to industrial hemp. The law has not been passed in Ghana here. Industrial hemp. You make far more money than what they are doing.
So you move them into industrial hemp?
Yes.
Okay.
Industrial hemp is not marijuana, I beg you. It's completely
I know,
different.
I get that. Though.
It is completely different. You can't mix the two. And industrial hemp is used for so many things. In Southern Africa, if you go to Zimbabwe, Malawi, but they've moved the youth into industrial hemp. And the law is that every ounce produced must be exported. So there's money, one. Two, carbon harvesting. You plant trees, you rest. If they had been told that the tree they were destroying, they could just sit back and get money from the carbon it is producing. They would have done it. It is no sweat. So these two, I'll move them there. And I've sat down.
And these two can guarantee them the 2,000 that.
Oh, far more than that. Far more because the numbers. My team. We've done the numbers. Far more than that. And like I said, it is having a government and a president who cares about the people. The people are his everyday agenda. His breakfast, lunch, and dinner is the people, not about growth rate 2%. No.
Okay. All right. Once again, this GBC's presidential encounter. We say big thanks to Star Ghana for supporting this particular program. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll pick the next batch of questions. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I want to know your plans for green jobs as a presidential candidate, where you get the nod to lead this country. What are your plans for green jobs for young people, especially young people? Because not every young person can be able to work within the districts, the districts for the contract policy. So some people would want to find solutions to our environmental problems. So what's your plan for that? Secondly, also in your opening statement, you mentioned about the IPPs and we owing them lots of monies. We know that Ghana is reliant on the Akosombo and other energy sources. But what's your plan for alternative energy? We're talking about renewables, the solar, the wind energy. What's your plan for that? And lastly, talking about the constitution, we know that previous governments have found problems with the constitution, and plans were in place to review the constitution.
Please, if you can just move the microphone closer to your mouth.
Plans were in place to review the constitution for a George Twum-Barima-Adu government. What's your plan to make the constitution efficient and effective for every Ghanaian, or all the sectors to be able to fit into that and benefit from the shares of resources we have as a country? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. I was hoping we'll take some more questions from other people, but he's already asked 3 questions. And so we'll take your responses on that, and then we'll move to this side for some more questions.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much for your questions on the green jobs, the alternative energy, which is quite key to where the future is now going. So it's all part of my Ghana First policy, as part of the reimagining of every sector of the economy, how to ensure that we move from this carbon-producing emission factories that are destroying our environment into green jobs. So in terms of the energy sector, that's one area we will look at. Because currently we have BUI, that works only 3-4 months a year, you know that. I mean, I don't know why a BUI was built. I mean, I can't quite build it because we knew that it doesn't work the whole year. But it works only for 3-4 months. So we are still dependent on Akosombo and all the other IPPs that is costing us so much money. Meanwhile, we have wind. We have the wind from the sea, we have the turbine. And these are all the areas that we can look at to create new avenues for the youth coming in who have the interest there, and those ones who also learn. So yes, it is something which we will look at under Ghana First. I mean, the green jobs and then the what's it called, the alternative source of energies. Yes, the wind, the solar, which is one thing where I really still see now the sun is really burning. And now solar cells in China are so cheap. I mean, they are so cheap now in China. That one area we can use is solar to power so many of our industries and homes, but it is being made to go to waste. So yes, we'll look at that. About the constitution, yes, some areas need to be reviewed. One area is the, so I met with friends who's a surgeon. Says, George, the next time I'm going to be an MP. I said, so who will take care of me? No. Why you're going to be an MP? George, my younger brother is an MP. And he's an MP. When I go to the village, they call him, they don't call me. I'm the eldest, so George. So now I'm going to be an MP. And then moreover, every 4 years, he gets severance. I don't get anything here. I've been working. That is an imbalance, a complete imbalance that has to be solved, and it shall be solved. Thankfully, others also speak about that. One other area also that I think must be solved, I don't see the use of Council of State. It's a drain on our budget. I don't see their use. One other area that must be solved is definitely breaking the Attorney General's office from the government. And we saw right now a case in point where Bagman is government. Sorry, the Speaker, I shouldn't say Bagman. The Speaker's office is government. So the Attorney General must represent the Speaker. But meanwhile, the Speaker's office has an opposing view than the government. Meanwhile, one person solved. So it's a clear example where they have to be separated. That area also, we will look at it. The other area I will look at is where we take ministers from parliament. It is creating a form of upper class parliamentarians, and people are going to parliament because they want to become ministers and not serving their constituents well. That's also one area that I will look at.
So you have you're not going to pick ministers from parliament?
No. By now I have to have no choice.
Okay.
By
but
now,
if you review the constitution,
no. Like I said, if I review like in the US, in the US, I will pick the best brains. So if you're a best brain that I need in your parliament, then I'll pick you. But what it means is that you have to resign from parliament if the law changes before you can become my minister. Thank you very much. So that's one area that I will also look at. And then the powers of the president are so vast that I don't see why the president should appoint all these people and we expect them to be neutral. They can never, we are humans. You can't appoint an IGP and tell the IGP to be neutral, because I'll sack you tomorrow if you're not neutral. It is normal. So all these areas that we have to see how we can insulate some of these independent bodies from the powers of the president, so they can actually serve the people and not the appointing authority. So those areas I'll look at, yes.
Okay, all right. That's story.
Well, we have some more questions on this side, so please go ahead and then, yes.
Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Reverend Divine Aglago.
DCPP. Great Consolidated People's Party.
Yes, from the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council.
Oh, that's what it is.
Not. Okay, so thank you. Come December 7th, Ghanaians will go to the polls to cast their vote to elect a new president. Characterized by our election, usually violence, fighting, and what have you. What are your plans concerning the peace? Your policies concerning the peace and stability of adherence in Ghana, irrespective of the outcome of the result. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Mothers from the market want to ask a question, and then we'll take one from this side.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
My name is Nade Anokwafo the First from Greater Accra Market Association. Please, if you become the president,
When
2025.
When I become not if. I said when I become not if. When I become the president.
When you become.
Thank you, amen. Yes. Continue.
Please, what is your plans for the Ghanaian market women, single parents, and the way forward towards our educational sector? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. We'll take a final round. I'll come back to you, please. We'll take a final question from here and then. Yes, it's working.
Yeah, good evening.
Let me try. I think it's supposed to work.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Osei Kwame. I have moved with Presidential George Twum-Barima for a long time, which all his policies and other things he's been saying have fed good to my heart. That is why I keep on following him. But then I've never heard him saying anything about this city dollar chasing issue. So I'll use this GBC platform to ask him if he's been voted tomorrow morning to be the next president in Ghana, how is he going to chase this city dollar issue for our reliefs?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So, Mr. Twum-Barima, I have 3 questions.
Yeah. So I'll start with Reverend Divine.
Yes.
For the peace of the nation. You know, it is something which I always ask myself, why do we fight? And you know why we fight? Because somebody thinks they can fight because they can get away with it. That's why they fight. If you fight, no, you'll be arrested. You won't fight. But why you know you can't get away with it because you know they have somebody behind you who will come and protect you. The issue is the two parties. Can I say the two parties? The peace of the nation, the two parties. That is the issue of two-party system that we have. So if, like I said in my initial presentation, I will do away with the culture of impunity. When you do away with the culture of impunity, and you know that there's nobody is going to back you when you misbehave, when you fight, you know the law will work. You know that your uncle can call the IGP or call someone to protect you. So, first and foremost, we have to do away with that culture. Where some people misbehave, they misbehave because they have people who will protect them when they are even arrested. Look at what happened to the guy from Joy. Somebody is protecting them. So they'll come and beat a journalist because they know they can get away with it. So it is for us to let people know that let us do away with this culture because we are one nation and one people. If we destroy it, we have nowhere else to go. I will not, even though I will not travel, I still will stay here to make sure that Ghana works and Ghana is working for all of us. So yes, let us do away with the culture of impunity and we will make the IGP and everybody else's work much easier.
Okay.
Market women, I met with the Greater Accra Market Women Association, the whole Greater Accra. I met with her. I think they will know they're forgetting the name. I met with her. We had a long meeting, and I'm very aware that when I was a kid at Presec, I went a few times to Kaneshie Market. That is the Kaneshie Market, and I went there sometimes, and it's still the same. And there has to be a modern market now. For 32 years we've had, and I told her that, for 32 years we've had the same market design, and like our young men said, the youth have ideas and that we can tap in to have a modern market that has a crèche. They can come in there with their children, has a crèche, has a clinic with a qualified nurse and a qualified doctor, has a proper toilet facilities, even the bathroom facilities, has proper what's it called? What's it called?
Ventilation.
Thank you so much. Ventilation. And it is time we have that. The market currently that we have, it's like you are choking. That is one. Two. And how to move the markets off, the market women from the floor. When I went to Bechem and some other parts of, they had laid their wares on the floor. And I was talking to how is it that we can get them off the floor. So these are things that it is all part of the reimagining of the whole economy. She spoke about single
parents.
Thank you, single parents, which is something which is a challenge for a lot of our mothers who are going through that. One of my best friend, James is one of my very good friends. Her mother is a single parent, and she always tells me about how what the mother had to sacrifice to bring her to where he is now. And it's something which the social welfare system has failed. So all this is what if we have a people, human-centered government, you would take into consideration. Because a mother suffering, like I said, Ghana is a mother. A mother suffering, people suffer. So my administration is, like I said, is going to be human-centered. So with a single parent, anybody who is going through anything, the policies are going to be there from the district level to the regional and the national level to ensure that you can tap into it and you can make them help you, because that is what the government is all about.
Now, should the government concern itself about single parents?
Definitely, because it is a human. When the mother is not doing that well, that child will suffer. Anything with people-oriented development agenda, policy, model, is about the person. How is our mother feeding the children? When we give them 100 cities, 200 cities, you've not done anything. I actually put them into poverty. It is for my government to lift them out there, to find them a skill That's why we have the community skill centers where the youth and all those who want to learn a skill can go to. So yes, government interest is in the mother than government SOE. So and then the educational sector, which I mentioned in my policy. Like I said, the free education has come to stay. I will add quality to it and ensure that your child, who is in the school wherever you are, no matter where he is in Greater Accra, gets the same first-class education that another child is having in another school. Because, like I said, the teacher will be that class 1, that class 8, that is the quality teacher, will be in a space that will be teaching to that student anywhere across the country the quality education. So if you go somewhere like a science fair, and you're talking about robotics, everybody will know about it because they were all taught by the same teacher across the country about robotics. You understand? Yeah. Right. So it's something which is mine is to ensure that and I'll put the schools also like I said, there'll be a crèche in all the markets. We have to redesign the current markets that have been built, and I'm not going to fault any government because they've been built already, but actually are not functioning. I don't want to fault any government, like the Cape Coast Market. No, it's a nice building, but it's not functional. Okay.
Also, Kwame wanted to find about the CD dollar
CD issue. And so why do we have this dollar CD issue? It's because we are what? We become dependent solely on imports. We import everything we want. And so when you import, what it means is what? You are taking my money here meaning Ghana government, Ghana money, and creating a job in a foreign land. That money you are used to go and buy in that country, you are giving them employment. Because you are buying from that factory, you hire more people, and Ghana here will suffer. So the issue about the dollar and the CD is an issue of reorienting to ensure that, like I said, DDI is to ensure that companies that use local majority of their raw materials. Let's say Guinness buys their milk from the women in the north. They don't bring from outside. So Guinness, for example, they are helping Ghana, and they should enjoy all the benefits of an FDI company. And so when we reorient to make sure that we are using local materials, we will help the farmer, we will help the market woman who is selling, and we will import less, and our CD will become stronger. It's the only CD we have. So to answer Bunga's question, I will ensure that we reorient and make sure that we import less, we produce more, and we use it locally and become self-reliant.
Okay. Yes, Tori, let's pick the next batch.
We don't have so much time, so please, everyone has the opportunity. In fact, you are taking 3 questions. You have the opportunity to ask just 1 question. Please do not ask 2 questions so that we can give others the opportunity to ask some questions. So, you want to start or? Okay, please go ahead. Ladies first.
I'm from Pong Evelyn.
Use the microphone, please.
Okay, I'm from Pong Evelyn from GBC Radio. And my question is, what's your take on the number of ministers in the country? And when you are voted into power, how many ministers
please take the microphone closer.
In your coffers? Can I repeat it again?
Yes, please.
So
how many ministers?
Yes. Yeah, will you keep in your coffers?
In my
cabinet, yes.
63.
60. Okay, we'll come to that.
So we have, please hold, we have 1 question here and then.
Thank you. So my name is Samuel Swansea Bafu from the Youth in Natural Resources and Environmental Governance Platform. I believe one of the realities of Twum-Barima-Adu government would be a parliament that has largely NPP and NDC legislators. And that comes in when we are doing a lot of things as a country. So how do you intend to maneuver that since you do not have people who are largely aligned to you or your policies and all that? So how would you maneuver a process like that for us to have smooth governance in the country? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. We'll take our final one from our mother from the market. She wants to speak Ga.
Oh, no problem.
That's fine.
My wife is from Black.
Okay, microphone. Thank you.
level ke isika ibi ane wo jano ye wo wolemi just last weekend tashi mo kutwa mi ke shika poni ike mi gba hesani tete ndia ke noji level ke mini sikalo ni no me feni wole ko ke bala kishi ake shishi wolo abi wo hesani lo ake wo mi no ko ye lo fo ne no ko banakan to ba fete ole ake ameni
okay okay all right
thank you.
So I think she wants to know more about the ESICA and of course the challenges they're having to understand those digital platforms, e-levy and ESICA. Yes.
So I'll start with GBC Radio, everything.
Yeah.
So I'm asked this question everywhere I go, and like I said, I've done my cabinet. They just have the names I have to put in there. It's a 63, and that includes everybody, deputies and all of that. I will elevate regional ministers because I'm going to move a lot of power to the region. That is where the work is. It's in the region. Why should a single mother, move from somewhere and come to Ministry of Women in Accra? To all moves to the region. So I'm going to elevate the regional ministers, become full ministers, and have the power to be able to do what a minister does. So yes, 63 is the number. On the other question, which I'm also asked that question all the time, and it is actually I say people, that's what the parties say, please. It is very clear with the Constitution that I take a majority of my cabinet ministers from Parliament. And it says that a minimum of 10, maximum of 19. So let's say if I take even 19, 10 must come from Parliament. And I said earlier in my presentation that the majority leader, who in Parliament is the head of government business, and the minority leader also, shall be in my cabinet. Because it is important that I work with them. I say everywhere I go that before I do anything, I take any bill to Parliament, right? I work with these two senior parliamentarians who are part of my cabinet, and the committees involved. So before it gets to the floor, it is already understood. And that is how Ghana should work. Ghana should work for Ghanaians, not for parties. Ghana should work with building consensus, not dividing ourselves. Ghana should work with a form of unity in everything we are doing. And that is why it is only a candidate who is not party-backed that can do this. Because when a party-backed candidate gets to office, they are going to pick everybody. That 19 ministers and right now, 120, not a single one is from the other side. They are all from one aisle only. So all the other side has been left out. That won't help Ghana. That is why you get a statement, people say, you didn't vote for me, so I won't bring you development. That will never help. That will never happen in a Twum-Barima-Adu government because I need everybody, both aisles, to work.
You're not worried about the political polarization where it's NDC and PP?
No.
So you can imagine you without having members of parliament and how that is actually going to work in the parliament where both sides are just holding on to their grounds.
No. That's what I said. If you have the majority leader and the majority leader and the majority and the minority leader in my cabinet, no.
Okay.
It works, and I have them also as members of my cabinet. It starts from there, and it goes to the committee before it goes to the floor.
What if you don't want to become a member of your cabinet, but they just want to stay in parliament?
If they don't become a member, and they want to, you mean the minority? And
yes.
That is their call.
Okay.
So I can't force them.
Okay. All right.
And so the other question is
the ESICA and the e-levy, yes.
Okay. With the ESICA, Mama, with the ESICA is very simple. But nobody will call you. Boko Ebake over the Minta ESICA in account. No. Boko Etrabu. ESICA Oshikani. Ke oye 60 years. Ake habu. After every 12 months, ake eko bahabu. Ni okay, bafe no fe ni otani. Okay, fe. Ke otani ohechu alo ohechu oha obi alo owale ni hechu. wanyo ono awale ni ibana de denche echu e wo isika ko twa ba ke minta usika number on it is bononi je mumu bokra ke ohendoko abache fio akaba mu dani ohendoko e ache fio kenwumi e ke government who ke interest e fono ko yisisti mama ba hefe ononi e wo doji ni maje levier complete we levier iba mikra e wo doji the difference is quite simple. I believe you're here and I see my breaking down.
Well, more of one wishing. Okay, all right. I think this will be it for our questions, and this will be it for this particular session. So, finally, your final words to our viewers and to our listeners. You can look into your camera over there and just speak to them. Just briefly, then we wrap up. Under 1 minute.
I want to thank GBC for this opportunity. I want to thank Ghanaians who have listened and have had patience to listen to me. And I want to say that this election, like I said earlier on, is a moment for us for the first time in our history to do something for Mother Ghana. This December 7th, I want us to have 2 words in mind: courage and boldness. Courage and boldness. I will have the courage and the boldness to go to the pool, to the booth on election day, and for the first time, vote for Mother Ghana. Vote for Mother. Cast your vote for yourself, for your own welfare, your own well-being, your own prosperity, and not for division. And vote for George Twum-Barima-Adu, the 11th position on the ballot. I thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together. Let's put our hands together for our guests today. On this note, we say thank you very much for joining us and grateful for honoring our invitation. We wish you all the best, and let's see what the future actually holds for us. And thanks a lot for your time this evening. We call it a day. And we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, our guest is going to be the presidential candidate for the NDP. And he'll join us here for us to get his plans and his thoughts too. On behalf of the entire production team, and of course on Doris' behalf too, my name is George Seppo. Thanks a lot. Have a good time, and then enjoy the rest of our programs. And we'll see you when we see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.